All right, everyone, we're going to open the meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Good evening, and welcome to the February 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Ward ZBA. First, let me introduce the members of the ZBA present here this evening. Myself, Chairman Alan Donnelly. Our Vice Chairman, Mr. Carl Hinger, is with us tonight. Our Secretary, Mr. Elijah Hewling, is with us tonight. Regular Member Commissioner, Mr. Richard Briggs, is with us tonight. Alternate Member Commissioner, Mr. Liam Ania, is with us this evening. Alternate Member Commissioner, Mr. Michael Barnes, is with us this evening. Absent tonight is Commissioner Larry Rushmeyer, but with us tonight is our excellent zoning enforcement officer, Mr. Fran Lally, and our outstanding recording secretary, Cassandra Berrien. All right. The current agenda can be found here at the table or on the town website under board meetings. When we begin the public hearing, I will call each applicant one at a time. When I call the property address, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and tell us about your appeal in detail. After, the secretary will read into the record any communications we received in favor or opposed to the application. The chair will then entertain questions of clarification for board members concerning the application. We will then hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Following each side of the question, the applicant will be allowed to make concluding remarks. After we've gone through all the cases on the agenda tonight, we will close the public portion of the meeting and will deliberate an open executive session. You must have at least 4 affirmative votes to have your appeal granted. The final decision may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, or disapproved. All questions and comments must be directed through the chair. Please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the board is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application, and in view of time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. You are welcome to stay until the end of the meeting or contact the land use office in the morning. Thank you. Okay, first thing on the agenda, alternates. Commissioner Nia, will you please be on the review of the minutes and on our first public hearing Z-25-3, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Barnes, will you please be on our second application, which is Z-25-4, sir?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the first one
It's gonna get
moved? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to take a motion to approve the January 6, 2025 minutes, please.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I have almost none. Great job, Amy. Perfect. I think they're perfect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Minutes of other boards and commissions, planning commissions. Anybody have anything on that? I'm good. Continued public hearings, there are none. Public hearings. The first public hearing is 25 Deerfield Road, that's Z-25-3. Neil Marcus for Scott G. and Deborah J. Taylor. Request for variance 3.4.alpha.3.b, accessory structure in the front yard. We've been requested by the applicant to table this until the March 3rd meeting, so I'd like to take a motion.
Continue it.
Continue.
So moved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To continue until March 3rd meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so that's continued. All right. Our second application is Z-25-4, that's 42 Berkshire Drive. The landowner of record is Ann and Ryan Lansing residents, that's 42 Berkshire Drive, Brookfield. The applicant agent is Hallis Associates, and I believe that is Mr. Gordon Hallis. And that is for a structure to the front lot line. I do have a question on this one. Required dimension is 20 feet. It says proposed dimension 12, variance requested 6. So will the applicant or proponent of the applicant please come forward?
I believe there's communications first. Do I read it?
Okay,
Yeah, however you want to.
we'll let them speak and then we'll do communication.
Okay.
That's how we usually do it, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's how we usually do it. Right, this is-
Wouldn't the
Yeah.
communications fall into the people speaking for or against?
Yeah.
Yes.
We usually do that after.
We usually do it after the presentation.
Please come forward, sir, state your name and address for the record, and tell us about your appeal in detail.
All right. It's Gordon Hallis, from Hallis Associates.
Welcome to the zoning board of appeals, sir.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys. What we're requesting for the Lansings, currently we're in the process of building a structure, that's a garage for the Lansings. And upon building the structure, we hit ledge. So we thought we could drill through the ledge. We did. We drilled through as much as we could, but we couldn't get the original plan, foundation plan, completed because the ledge is, it's difficult to get through, and I had a driller out there. We tried drilling through the ledge. We did drill through about 4 feet of it, but because the pool is very close to the edge of that property, or edge of the foundation, they did not want us to blast. And so, and then the other problem was, if we got way too close, we might compromise the pool. So in order to get the distance we need for the garage, in order to fit a car in there, right currently we have 12 feet, and we actually need more than 6 feet, but we can't go any further than 6 feet because of the road line. So we are asking for another 6 feet to build the structure out, 6 feet just on the garage level, in order to fit a car in there. The whole point of building this thing is the client has a very steep driveway. It's at the top of the 42 Berkshire, and in the wintertime they almost slid off their driveway going up with their kids in it. So they decided to build a garage and be able to have a garage for them there, and then be able to walk up to the house that way. So that's the reason why the garage is so important. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here trying to get the extra 6 feet. If we could get the original foundation done, it would have been fine, but we spent 4.5 months and quite a few $1,000s trying to make it happen. It just wasn't possible with the situation we got into. So that's the premises of trying to get the garage to fit a car in.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
We do.
You will be able to respond.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Chad Nearing, 17 Longview Drive, Brookfield, Connecticut 06804, dated January 31st, 2025, regarding Lansing 42 Berkshire Road, ZBA application 2.3.25. Dear Chairman Donnelly and board members, I am the neighbor to the south of the Lansing garage. I oppose this variance application for the following reasons. 1. The original variance granted should have provided plenty of opportunity to build a proper garage. This is a very large piece of property, and another garage could easily be built somewhere on the property to park cars if needed. Also, the pool could have been emptied, proper ledge removal employed, and a proper depth garage could have been built. 2. It appears from the zoning documents uploaded on Viewpoint as of January 31st, 2025, that there have not been any plans or elevations included in this application pertaining to what this building may look like. If approved, this is unsettling. 3. The documents filed for the ZBA appear to be in error due to the property having 2 front yards, and this application references the distance to the Berkshire front yard, not the Longview front yard. 4. This appears to be self-imposed hardship. Please reference the Viewpoint permit documents. On page A2, the building section shows a shallow garage. This appears to have been the design intent since documents were filed. 5, a 6-foot increase of volume towards Longview will create unsafe sightlines from exiting my driveway at 17 Longview driveway and also the driveway to the north of the proposal. 6, if a 6-foot addition is built on the front of this garage, it will prohibit cars from being able to park in the driveway and likely would add to street parking, which is already an issue in the shores in general, but also in the vicinity of this proposal. 7, it also appears that the garage has been built taller than what was originally designed and allowed in the zone. Please reference the permit drawing A2. The finished cabana floor is much higher than the 4 feet called out on the documents to the pool deck. This, in turn, has created a height issue. I believe that the ZBA or ZEO should review the building to ensure it conforms with the town regulations. This height change greatly affects the volume of the structure and makes it a much more imposing structure. Thank you for reviewing the above. Sincerely, Chris Nearing.
Normally, we would go right into questioning from here, but if that's fresh in your mind and you'd like to respond to anything, sir, you have the floor.
The plans for the building, we're going right off the plan, so I don't know, you know. So we're just going off the plan. We're building it just per plan. We haven't changed anything for that. Regarding the sightline, there's no sightline issue because you're still 20 feet from the road before you even get to the building, even if we put the 6 feet there. So, and I know his driveway. I've had many conversations with him. So he's not in favor of the building no matter what we do. So, you know, but we deal with what we can do. But we're trying to follow all the regulations and all that kind of stuff, and that's why, you know, we're coming to you folks for this. As far as placing a garage somewhere else on the property, unless we, Mr. Ryan, I mean, Mr. Lansing, I don't know.
I mean, so Chad is our neighbor.
Would you like to come forward, state your name and address for the record, so you're going to speak?
Ryan Lansing, 42 Berkshire, homeowner.
Welcome to the zoning.
Well, thank you, appreciate that. Chad is our neighbor. Chad is actually he's the original designer of the garage. So we worked with him earlier to do the designs of the structure. When he provided us the quote for it, was much different than the original plan. To Gordon's point is we did try to move with the ledge. So I know Chad had a couple sayings about how the width of the the base and the structure, and he was questioning that. But it's really the design from the engineer that provided that base that was needed, the backfill that was needed. So again, he was in favor of the garage. He actually helped us with the original designs. The height of the garage is lower than his initial design because we went with a flat roof versus a gridded roof or a slanted roof. So some of the concerns that he had was different from what his original support for the garage. To Gordon's point, is that the key aspect is for our family is having a garage that we can actually park the car. We did have the incidents that Gordon mentioned in March of last year where we did slide down the driveway with the kids in the car. So we want a safe place that we can drive out. Obviously this morning it took me a couple hours to shove the driveway, and again, not an issue with your plan. It's in the case of emergencies where the kids need to get out, or a family emergency, we need to have ability to exit safely. So it's that's the primary concern for us, is having that safe garage location. To the point is where if you look at the design of or the property lines, there isn't any other location for a garage. It is a steep driveway. We couldn't put it at the front of the property. To your point is we hit two streets, so there's our entrance is on the 42 Berkshire. Our property goes onto Longview, so that's why this is referring to two front.
Somewhere around 17-ish.
17-ish, yeah. So Chad, our neighbor, is I think 19. So again, to Gordon's point, the garage is being built to design. Because of the ledge, we have pushed the back in, and therefore not enough room for the front, or for a full car. And what we're talking about is not changing the foundation of the garage, but just a bump out just for the entrance of the garage to fit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask the commissioners if they have any questions of the applicant.
I have some questions.
Yes, Commissioner Barnes.
My first question would be, normally a garage is limited to 900 square feet. So you've had these plans all approved by planning and zoning for something that's about 3 times the size of that for square footage? I'm not talking about footprint, we're talking about total square footage of a building is normally restricted for an accessory building to 900 square feet. You've got about 3 times that with the structure you're
With the
building.
levels, you mean? Because of the levels or the floor plan itself?
Total square footage.
Cubic feet or?
Total square footage, according to zoning, is, for an accessory building, is 900 square feet unless you've had your site plan approved by the commission.
Well, we went through all the process of approving, getting this approved.
You don't happen to have a copy of the building permit on you, do you?
I don't.
Oh, that's okay.
But we, you know, the building is 30 by 28.
Yeah, so you got 800 and some odd square foot per level.
Right.
That's way over 900 square foot total.
Well, I don't.
Yeah, I'm just asking the question whether or not you had submitted I don't know, can you read it? You've got it there, can you read it off?
900 square feet for a detached garage or pool house,
Unless,
except that the building with areas greater than that may be permitted with the approval of the commission with submission of the site plan.
so I'm asking if that was done.
Not by us. No, we started, after Chad drew the plan.
Chad had 2 levels. You've got 3. So you've added an additional square footage.
Well, may I?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So the height of the building is based on the walkout, meaning the pool level.
This question isn't, I'll get to
Yeah.
height later, but this doesn't have
Well-
anything to do with height.
Well, no, to the point is the entrance to the garage from the pool level, right? That's what the goal was to be flush with that.
Right.
So the top, and then going down to the garage, right? So
Correct.
the height of the garage is always gonna be consistent in terms of, you know, do you have a level in between or not? And the level in
Right.
between is a half level, it's like storage.
Is
So,
that still the case? Because the house drawings I saw with the letter show a studio being put in there with
Is
the
it-
square footage that's considerably more than just half of the
right,
height.
so it's that second level you have to walk up to.
Even the
right?
2 levels, the 2 levels are way over 900, so.
That was the original plans that,
The application says 30 feet, sir, is that correct, for the height, bottom left here? Did you fill out this application,
This is less than.
or less than 30 feet? Do you
Yeah, but
know-
accessory structures are limited to 20 feet.
Right, that's the next
In
question.
an R7 zone, you're limited to 20 feet. So I didn't see a variance for that. I saw a variance only for the setback. I didn't see any other variances. Were there other variances that we're not aware of?
No, there's only I think it was, the original variance was,
I can tell you that if you want, sir.
yeah,
10/7/2019, application Z19-87, and that was approved for Article 3.5 and 3.4.alpha.3.b. The 3.5 was a 15-foot 7-inch structure to the front lot line, that's on the Longview Drive side. And 3.4 Alpha 3B was accessory structure, front yard, 2-car detached garage with pool cabana above.
Normally, you're not
That was
allowed
variance.
an accessory structure in your front yard, so that's
Right,
what
you
those
did have a
were
variance for that.
But they don't have anything to do with the height.
And that
The
was
height of the
5 feet
structure
of safety.
is only 20 feet, is allowable. It's in an
Yeah, that was my
R7
question.
zone.
What
Yeah,
actually is the
but
height,
the
sir?
plans from Chad were not 20 feet either. They were 30 feet. They were-
No, not from the plan, his original plan actually, did show correct. If you look at it, because in his elevation view, he measured it correctly. So, in the original plan that he had here,
Yeah,
yeah, he's got it shown here to the midpoint on the gable. And he had, only 15'7". But his, average grade is quite a bit different from yours. Your average grade on your plan, which, although you didn't provide a copy with, we were able to, get it from the letter. The average grade on the original one that was approved was 82.5 feet, was the average grade of the property
right.
that you're working with. Yours is 111 feet. So I'm questioning, how did that change? And how do we know which one is correct?
Well, if you took his plan.
Would you like to see what I'm looking at here?
Yeah, well,
Please come forward, so, absolutely.
When we looked at that plan, it didn't equate out to what the existing conditions were.
Well, that's,
And that's
maybe
why-
his plan didn't have the right number. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
that's why
asking.
because,
Because his average grade was originally 82.5 here.
gotcha.
And then he's got it going up in the midpoint of the dormer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's calculating out his height. So here, you've got your average grade at 111 feet. My question was, why is it different? He shows the slope of the property here. So he shows the slope of the property here is the average grade going through. So if we look at this side of the property
Yep, yep.
to this side of the property, that line's kind of halfway. That doesn't change from your plan to his. You're only a couple of feet different. So it should be pretty darn close.
Well, I don't know, but CCA did the elevations for
Okay.
us and did the site plan for us.
All right, so
And,
you're saying you probably had a more thorough
oh, yeah,
investigation than the
yeah,
original
because we were
preliminary
trying to
sketch?
get, we were trying to get that, fit that garage in there with the ledge.
Yeah,
with the-
that's okay, you answered my question well enough.
Just-
Thank you, Mr.
I did have one other question regarding height.
Sure.
As I said, 20 feet is the allowable amount, anything else you need a variance for.
Okay.
All
Well,
right, and also the height calculated, if you've got a roof deck and a roof deck railing is a parapet. So when you have a parapet on a roof and you're doing the height, you have to go to the top of the parapet and measure it to there. So you would go from your average grade measurement to the top of the parapet. You're well in excess of that.
That was gonna be my first question. What exactly is the height, sir?
I know it's under 30 feet, but I gotta.
Well,
think.
20 feet is the regulation, not 30.
Right.
30 is an all-encompassing one for all buildings. At 20 feet in an R7 zone, if you check the zoning regulations,
That's regulation 3.6.6.
there you go, you got there before me. All right, those were the questions I had.
3.6. Charlie,
Thank you.
excuse me. 3.6 Charlie.
So if that's the case for the height for an accessory building,
It's the height of
So-
any building in an R7 zone,
Right.
any building is 20 feet?
in an R7 zone, yes.
For accessory building, not for a
All
house?
buildings in
For
an
a- for a
R7
house as
zone.
well?
For
No,
houses.
30 feet for a house.
30 feet on the front
30
house.
feet on a house.
Yeah,
No, I was just gonna say,
accessory is 20.
If you wanna come forward, I'll just show you that 3.6 Charlie right here, so.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
3.6 Charlie, maximum height of customer use structures shall be, so R7 zone, R15 and R7 zone is 20 feet.
okay.
All right, it's your, R100, R80 is 30, and 25 feet in R60 and R40.
Okay. So,
So you would have to ask for a variance if you were going for a height more than that. That's my point.
okay.
I didn't see that, I didn't know if you had gotten one earlier, so it's, the only
No,
other one I saw
I-
was the previous plan.
Yeah, because we wanted to, after Chad did not go forward, or Lansing's did not go forward with that, we got another architect in order to make that happen.
Okay,
And he looked at the regulations, but I think maybe even, I don't know.
I don't know, it's
I'll
pretty
have to-
clear.
I have to look at that.
yeah.
Is I guess well, that's not a question, so.
It's okay, sir. Commissioner Briggs? Vice Chairman?
Oh, with all this more complicated discussion, just a very minor thing, but it says here the required dimension 20 feet, proposed 12, variance 6, so the variance would be 8, not 6.
Yeah. Or is it 14 feet on a proposed dimension? That was a question I had for you as well, sir. I can show you if you want. So that's the actual variance requested. It says required dimensions 20 feet, which is correct. Proposed dimension says 12 there. I'm wondering if that's supposed to be 14. And the variance requested is 6 feet, and it's zoning regulation 3.5. Is that 12 supposed to be a 14?
12 inches?
The 12 inches.
Yeah,
Oh, you got 12
Yeah, he's got 12 inches.
Yeah, that's not 12, it should be, sure you meant feet, but I think it's supposed to be 14 feet.
What was the previous variance granted on the property? Was that already a?
Well, the previous
front yard?
variance was structure to the front lot line.
Yeah, what was the feet?
It says 15 foot 7 inches.
On the Berkshire side?
Was the
On
variance
the
15.7 was the
Longview
variance.
Drive side.
So,
15.7 closer to the road, on the Longview
So that's
side?
a 15
No, it's-
foot, well, this, I can pull the actual variance, I'm just going by my notes here.
Because if you could be 15 feet 7, or, yeah, 15 feet 7 inches closer to the road, that gives you a, oh, okay, no, it's yes, a proposed dimension of 4 to 5 inches.
Which
That
one
was
are you
a
looking at?
approved.
Oh,
That was
okay.
the-
yeah, that was the one that was approved. The variance was 15.7.
The applicant's better off withdrawing the application and resubmitting.
I think so, but I think he's got to also rethink what he's looking at, and
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
if he needs to ask for other variances, he's gonna have to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I think, I don't know if there's any reason for more.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for the applicant? Do you have any questions for the applicant? Okay. Sir, would you like the opportunity to withdraw the application? and-
Yeah, we will, because we'll address those.
Yeah, I would like to
concerns.
make one more comment too. Can we get a side elevation to see what that, if you were to put an extension on there? We had no idea what that was gonna look like. Was the whole edge of the building gonna come out? We didn't know
Right.
that before you
You
came
know, we
in.
had a drawing, I don't know why it's not submitted in here, Mike Rome in the office. We
Mr.
have.
Hollis, I took a couple photos, if you want to explain it to him in the photos. if you
Well,
like.
I understand if it's only the first floor, that's okay.
It is only the first floor, but,
Does that help you? There's 3 or 4 on there.
right. I
That helps you
appreciate that.
explain anything.
Was that marked out for you? Did you see that?
I saw a little red line there, I guesstimated.
Yeah.
You know what happened was it got.
Thank you for letting me go out there.
It got decimated when the rain came. Anyway, the idea is to have a roof line.
small roof?
6 feet come over,
Okay.
between the window and the door.
Okay,
And then just to cover that, to have it come out, so that they can get a
Understood.
car in there.
And I did a quick measurement, it's about 13 foot depth in there, does that sound
Correct.
about right?
Correct.
Oh, so it's already mostly built.
Correct.
yeah,
Okay.
it's up.
Yeah, so you just want to basically have a 6 foot overhang.
Yeah, just so they can get a car in there, that's the problem, is, you know,
You don't know the height, I mean, I'm just looking at it as a layman, I'm not an architect, I'm looking at it and, I guesstimated. I know that's about 10 foot because I walked up in there and looked at it, that's probably 10 and, I don't know, I thought it was almost 30, but you tell me what the height is.
it's under 30, but it's close to 30. So.
28 or something.
Yeah.
But this The 20-foot is from the average though,
The
not
average
from,
grade's
not
not
from,
from-
not from the bottom of the garage
oh,
floor.
okay.
It's
Well,
the
then-
average grade, so you may be
Okay.
close.
Yeah, it's.
Well, you
that's-
may be closer than you think.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you need-
Oh, that makes sense then,
Yes.
okay, because I'm like, how would we?
No, it's that average,
Yeah.
that's.
Okay,
the
so you know
average
what I
grade.
can do is, I can, we'll withdraw the application and then address those issues. Give you a drawing on it as well, just so it's proper, so you understand really what's happening.
Yeah.
So these folks can kind of, say nay or yay for what we can do for them. But, yeah, then we'll go and look at it and see, because we also have the square footage issues, right?
Well, if it's approved, if the zoning commission approved an increase in square footage, then that's okay.
But we'd like to see a copy.
But we'd like to
But
see
we need
a
to-
copy of that.
right.
Yes, sir.
Because otherwise, you're gonna have to ask for variance on that too, because
Gotcha.
900 is what's allowed.
I got you. I didn't know that, but I didn't know this, since we went through already, I thought it was already set, but, okay, so we'll figure that out then. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. So you're requesting withdrawal of the application for right now?
I will.
Okay, is that good enough, Fran?
Yeah, I'd like to get it in writing, that's all.
Do you mind putting that in writing on something if we give you a piece of
Yeah,
paper?
we can send a letter over.
Yeah, if we have, write down the paper. Yep. Okay, yeah, thanks.
And you
Use my
can,
pencil.
you can hand that to the secretary, sir.
All right.
Either one, doesn't matter, as long as the right's
If he's withdrawn, then
Yeah,
it's,
it's withdrawn.
it's over. We're not voting or anything, it's just, I mean, you can't close a
can't
hearing
close
that's
something that's
withdrawn,
withdrawn.
right? It's no longer, it doesn't exist anymore. I think it's just,
Thank you very much for letting me go out there. It was a little wet and a little steep.
Yeah, well, at least it wasn't as cold as the other days that you had.
Yeah, that's true,
Check
that's
that
true.
out, let's see if they approved it.
Yeah, it's like three times. The original plan only had the garage and then the second floor, which was still too big, and then they had storage mezzanine.
Yeah, the application number in front of you, Z 25-2.
Yeah, it was pretty good, though, to check here, and we did everything, it was pretty thorough on
Maybe his intention was
to come back.
to come back and ask.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty good.
Do you have anything you'd like to say, Mr. Lansing?
Oh, no, the next ones are.
Thank you, sir.
We'll refile.
Thank you very much for coming.
just on to the next item.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they wanna hear the next time.
Keep forgetting it's 25 already.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you
Sorry
very
about
much,
that.
sir.
I don't know.
Have a good evening.
You too, likewise, and happy birthday.
Old business, there is none. New business, draft fee schedule. I'd like to have a little bit of discussion on this. I did do a little bit of homework. Does anybody have any questions on the draft fee schedules?
That was just a start point for everybody, just to give you a heads up, I mean,
Hence draft.
yeah, I mean, that was just, numbers that we
Yeah.
threw out that, Laura and I had, just threw out there. So I know other, Monroe, I think charges like $780 for ZBA variance, so.
Wow, they're hammer time.
Yeah, so I mean,
I did do a little bit of homework, just for the heck of it, because I didn't know. Well, I grabbed our old fees, so we know what the old fees are, which are right here. Okay, so it looks to me like, and we'll just go over them, and this is the proposed, the alteration, addition, existing structures, outbuildings, swimming pools and stuff. The old fee was $150 plus the state of Connecticut fee, which would have been a total of $210. The proposed new one is up $100 to a $250 fee. State of Connecticut is $60, and it's $310 total. The construction of house, other structure, and vacant land in residential zone, the old fee was $200. It looks like it's a proposed of a plus $150 to $350. $60 state of Connecticut fee, that would be a total of $410. The application for variance property located in a commercial industrial zone. The old fee was $300, that looks like a plus $200 to $500. And then state of Connecticut fee $60 and $560 total. And then application for appeal from the CEO. The old fee was $300. It looks like it's proposed to go up $200 to $500. There is no fee from the state of Connecticut, so that would be $500. So I called, just for the heck of it, I called New Milford, and I spoke to Becky there, who's been there for a while, and just wanted to get a rough idea of what their numbers were. She said they happened to be in the process of redoing their fees, because they hadn't done them in a long time too. So anyways, what they do, they don't quite break it down as much as us, but it's close. Their residentials are $102 and plus the state of Connecticut fees. Their commercial and business are $152 plus the state of Connecticut fees. And their appeals of ZEO, and she kind of laughed. She's like, did you guys get a lot of appeals from the ZEO? I'm like, not very many.
One.
Yeah, one in all the years we've been here. But their fee is $102, and then there's no fee from that. Becky, because she was in the middle of doing it for the town, said she researched the whole state of Connecticut for towns similar our size, not big cities, but towns. And the averages, if they broke it down by just residential, commercial, residential average was $170 plus the fees, commercial was $250 plus the fees, and the averages, if you don't break it down, some of them don't break it down with residential or commercial, just have a flat fee, is $250 plus the state fees. The ZEO one, she was like, wow, when I told her what the number on ours was. She's like, do you guys get that many of those out there? I said, no, we really don't get any at all. So that's where they are on this. I just wanted to see, we don't have to make a decision tonight, we can think about it. I think the ZEO one is really high, no offense, but I think that one's almost punitively high, in my opinion. But does everybody want to think about this for a month and then go over it, or?
I would encourage everybody to reach out to different towns and get you.
Yeah, or reach out and get,
Do your due diligence.
Do we want to do any initial discussion on it before?
whatever you think. Sure, go ahead.
I mean, personally, I understand the reasoning behind, like, okay, it's been 20 years since we updated it, and
Yeah, it's
you know,
gotta go up.
rate of inflation should have increased, but I almost feel like the ZBA fees are sort of a bar for making sure that the board isn't overwhelmed with frivolous applications, just asking for any old thing. That's the primary use of the fee. Sure, it makes the town some money, but realistically, we all see what the town budget is, a couple $100. An application does not exactly give the town all these
You
funds.
haven't gotten your cut yet?
Right, so, I'm not really concerned about raising the fees for the sake of like trying to get the town more money. And I
Right.
don't think it's a reasonable amount of money to change anything. I feel like it's more, the only real reason I can think of raising the fees is if we were being bombarded with applications. If we regularly had meetings, like, we've only had one meetings, at least in your and I tenure on the board so far, that we had to have a separate special meeting because we had too many
Yeah,
applications.
six.
Yeah, so there was one meeting in 4 years where we said, too many applications, we need to break it up. If that was a regular occurrence, I could justify, okay, let's raise the fees so that we trim down the number of
And only one
applications.
in all these years on the appeal of a ZEO.
Right,
Just
exactly. So I don't see a reason to raise the fees because I think more than getting the town any money, the real effect of raising the fees is going to reducing the number of applications we receive per month. And I don't
I
think.
hadn't thought of it that way.
And I don't,
Yeah, I didn't
like,
really think of
the amount that we make by increasing it by $100
It's inconsequential to the
Exactly.
budget.
The
yes.
real effect is how many applications that you get.
Yes,
every
you only
month.
get
And-
serious applications.
Yeah, but I don't think we get so many applications right now that we need to reduce the number we get. We're never really overwhelmed. There's, again, occasionally in the summer, maybe it gets a little bit long, but I, at least personally, haven't felt like, geez, I spend all this time in the ZBA, there's too many applications, I don't have any, I think we get a comfortable amount of applications right now that I don't see the need to raise the fees and thus reduce the application load, personally.
When was the last time that this fee schedule was made? Was it like 15, 20 years ago?
I
I
couldn't tell
mean,
you.
this one says, effective.
What's the date? 04,
Uh,
21 years
So-
ago.
So again, you could argue, hey, inflation, we should increase it, but based on what we are receiving in applications, I don't see a reason to increase it just to increase, the town, the $80 million budget, and we'll give them an extra couple $100.
Yeah, if you-
That seems silly.
If you look at our,
I'm not concerned about it.
yeah, if you look at our numbers, how they are now, based on the information, then we wanted, I guess, research it some more that I got from Becky and New Milford. We're already a little above the average in where our number is.
I mean,
How do you guys feel?
I mean, I'd almost say maybe knocked out, maybe lower the CEO appeal one, because we get so few of them, like, what is it?
They had,
No matter to me, I'm just,
Yeah, it's not.
theirs is 102,
You're
and
not
they haven't
taking it
had one in a
personally.
couple
No,
of
no, I
years.
encourage everybody
Well,
just
because
all
Or
over town.
years,
Yeah, I mean,
what do you call
Yeah,
it?
well, because part of the appeal of the CEO is that, like if you get a ticket for speeding and
Right.
you're challenging the ticket. Well, if
Right.
the fee is more than the fine,
Right.
you
Yeah.
don't even bother challenging it. So that I almost feel you could lower it from where it is currently to.
Well,
couple
currently
of
it's
people-
zero.
Well, no,
Well,
it's
to a
currently
couple
at-
$100, it's $300.
Oh, it's 300.
300.
It's 300.
I almost feel like you can lower
Yeah,
it to
that's-
incentivize, like, hey, if you feel like, for whatever reason, not that I think Fran's a bad guy at all, but if you feel like you have been wronged,
Yeah.
you don't need to spend more than you're being fined to
Right.
come have your case heard.
Right.
Well, I mean, even with the issuance of the cease and desist, they have the right to appeal to the ZBA prior to going to Superior Court, so.
Right.
I mean, there's no fines accumulated at that point. It's
Right.
just I guess the threat of a $150 fine. So
Right.
there's no fines being set forth
Right,
until the
right.
citation is issued.
Right, but if they have.
This was their appeal time.
Yeah,
where they can
that's
appeal.
why we've only seen one.
Yeah, exactly. If you have to
It's
spend
$300.
$300 to.
You're better off
appeal
taking the fine.
The potential of a 150 fine.
I think of it as like a speeding ticket, okay? Speeding tickets
Yeah.
in Connecticut are $300 plus. But if you take the time and you go to court, yeah, they're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
If you take the time and go to court, you sit down on the day, I'll drop the $75 and $35 court fee or whatever,
Those days worth
and
of work.
no points.
Right, but essentially what we're doing here is we're saying, yeah, I'll drop the $300 speeding ticket to $35 plus $300 in court fees,
Yeah.
which is
Remind me
like-
of when this, the one case we had, what was that case?
That was the VFW.
VFW.
Right.
That was
appealing.
June of '23, I think.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was my
That-
notice of violation, they appealed
Yeah.
for parking. Yeah.
Right.
that was your-
That was the 5-hour meeting, you don't remember that one?
Yeah, there
And we're over midnight that night, remember that?
Yes, and then we still had to come
There's
back.
a part of me that says that number. The other, I agree with Carl, what you're saying. That one, I was thinking, why don't we double it, make it 1,000? Because
It's not too bad.
sometimes, these situations where people like this case today, where somebody comes in and something's built already, and then they're applying for a variance.
Right.
I mean, there are times when I think there should be some substantial fine for doing something that.
Well, if the variance is denied, it's gonna cost.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the first time
It's not,
happened.
it's not too inexpensive to pull it back down.
Yeah, but there's a precedent
Yeah, I was just
to
agreeing on the CEO.
approve when
the
something, the
precedent
structure
is-
is already there.
I don't know. I
So you
don't
think
feel
what,
it.
The CEO,
Okay.
I'm fine with the CEO price because it's.
the old one or the new one?
Both, because the only reason you're coming here is if Fran has to go out and you already did something wrong. And then you wanna appeal that, which is fine, but 99% of the time, it means you did something without coming to us first and paying the 150 or whatever it is to go to the ZBA and get your,
Mhm.
and get a permit, for what so, again, it may be punitive, but in this case, I think it's warranted, because it's not like Fran's just going around looking to give people a hard time.
Right.
You're only coming here for that and paying that fee if you did something incorrectly already.
I'm okay with, I can live with the fees the way they are now. I definitely don't want to raise the appeal of the CEO one, with all due respect. or we can research this some more. How do you guys feel?
I'm okay with the fees where they are
I'm
now.
not interested.
I mean, if you wanted to have a small nominal increase, just to say you put them up.
Commissioner Briggs, how do you feel, sir?
I'm sort of torn, I guess, a certain nominal increase doesn't seem unreasonable since they haven't been changed in 20 years, I guess, but.
But at least the one place, and I can look some more, at least with the Milford, we're already higher, and she's just recently done research around the state for towns our size. We're already higher than them, all the numbers. The numbers that she came up with, the averages were, it's roughly 250 for each one. If you broke it down, residential's 170, commercial's 250, yes, sir.
Do you know if the zoning commission has amended their fee schedule?
Yeah, they just did, right?
They did. And if the ZBA would like, I mean, I'll grab prices from different towns and have it for the next meeting, you know.
I like to hear, you know, the Fairfield's similar size to us,
Yes.
right?
Fairfield, Bethel. you know.
Maybe Bethel's pretty close. We kind of have New Milford's numbers already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an
I'll
excellent
get some
suggestion.
comparables from other towns.
Thank you,
And
Fran.
then the, you know, commission can look at it.
Yeah, and we'll look at it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, the projects that people come to us about are a very substantial investment.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty nominal,
Yeah.
I mean, even these raised fees are pretty nominal
Mhm.
amount
Right.
by comparison. And you certainly want people to take the process seriously and not sort of come in and say, oh, well, you know, we'll.
Yeah, let's just get a variance. It's
we'll
only,
put some, you know, stuff
it's only
down and,
250 bucks plus
Right.
the state fee.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
um,
All right, so you want to do that? You want to
Yeah,
take a list on this
I'll
one? till we
I'll get
it?
a price list at the next meeting.
Yeah, at least do Fairfield and
I'll do
any other
some
towns
surrounding-
similar to us.
With the
Bethel.
population.
Fairfield and
Yeah.
Bethel, please, Fran.
Yeah, Fairfield, Bethel.
Yeah, we got New
I'll
Milford.
get Newtown probably too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Take a motion to table this till,
Do we
Do we have
need
to?
a motion? Or no?
Nah.
It's just
Yeah, it's just
a.
okay.
I thought it was an informal
Discussion.
Yeah,
discussion
it's
on
just
draft
discussion. You
fees.
can
Yeah,
just
that's all.
discuss it whenever you want.
Yeah, we didn't have anything on the agenda to
Yeah,
vote on.
tabled items none, informal discussion. Is there any informal discussion on anything?
Fran, do you need this note, or you want me to just?
I do, you can use, just stamp it receipts, and then, I'll put it in the
The
file.
one on the right or the left?
Should be the one right there.
Oh, that's right.
I have a thing for informal discussion.
Yes, sir.
When I started looking at this particular case that came up today, I was disappointed that the previous variance for the same structure was not included in the packet.
And you had to ask for
And I
it?
had to ask for
Or
it.
the
So
site
it's the
plan.
same structure. Is there, you know, is there any way we could get the land use folks to, just if it's pertaining to the same structure, can they just do it? and give
Mr.
it
Lawley's
to
right
us?
there, you can ask.
I will ask staff tomorrow morning when I
In
get
this
in.
case, I think it's kind of on the applicant as well, because on their application, they
They
left
said
it-
there was
they left it-
variance.
Well, no, they left it blank.
Yeah,
They didn't
they
say.
didn't even say it.
You can put it on the application,
Yeah.
list
Right.
appeal number and date, so
Yeah.
that would make it
And it's
easier
tough
on
for
land
land
use.
use to look at everything to see if they do everything right. We know we've gone through this one
Yeah.
So
before.
that's almost the
It
applicant's
is,
fault.
but I found a lot more that I didn't want to know on that variance that
Yeah.
really affected this decision.
Right, so-
Because we were looking at a completely different building.
Right.
I was confused because in the letter from Chad, where he included that site plan, I didn't get that in my packet. So I didn't realize there was a 3-story building there. That completely changed the way I was
I
Well,
thinking.
think
they
that letter came
changed
with
it.
Gmail.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
It was in the email, but it wasn't in the packet.
Yeah.
So the new building wasn't in the packet.
I might have missed that. I don't feel like I noticed that.
No, the new building is not in this packet.
Yeah.
And that's part of what I'm asking for is, you know, it's important that if we're asking for a variance on a building that has not previously been submitted,
Yeah, we
it
have
should be
all
in the
the
package. We
information.
don't have all the information in
Yeah.
it.
I agree. I agree. Yes, Commissioner Briggs.
I was, another continued case, when I was looking it over again, brought something to mind, and that was the case for the garage for the boat.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if we should talk about that now.
Well, I don't wanna talk
Is it
about the
okay?
case.
Well, no, not this one, the one.
I know which one
Oh.
we're talking about.
I'm not talking about the case so much as I wrestle with this idea of hardship, meaning, the phrase is hardship of the land, right? But lands don't have hardships, people have hardships. So it's not the land that's suffering, it's the person. And then
Because
you-
they want to build and do
Right,
something.
and then, so then you, to me, you get into the question of the person-land relationship. And so if you say, anything I wanna do on this piece of property, if it doesn't comport with the zoning regulations for that piece of property, is causing me a hardship. If I want a big hangar for my plane, or if I want a garage for my boat, or if I want a new pool. if I
And
want-
then you think about, is that self-induced?
Well, so there has to be some parameters around what's considered a valid human hardship. Because that's ultimately what the hardship is, it's a hardship to the human. And so to me, there's certain, I guess, fundamentals, like, you know, having relatively easy access to your house, having a garage for your car, having a place to store your tools and equipment, you know? Having, I mean, you could list a bunch of features of daily living that we all would want, the average person would want as part of their dwelling. But when you get into these more idiosyncratic requests that aren't sort of typical or average requests, then how do you deal with that? Because, you know, and if your property doesn't allow for it.
Is that where
then the zoning
reasonableness comes
regulations-
in? Reasonableness? Is that
Yeah,
where-
so there has, but then that gets into a kind of quite subjective, you know, because one person's reasonableness is another person's, you know, excessive demand and so forth. So I was just throwing that out there because it's something
Yeah,
I
that's
wrestle
tricky.
with.
I think that's why,
That's why they come to us and we
that's
have
why
a
the
discussion.
ZBA is an elected board, is because it's up to each of us. The
Yeah.
subjectiveness is up to who you elect as
Right,
your officials
right.
to make that decision. It's why the ZBA is a
But I guess.
political body and not just a computer. You type in all your
And-
details
and-
and it says, here's your answer.
And we're the
It's
last
human.
stop before it has to go to court.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is it would be helpful, it seems to me, if, I mean, yeah, we all make our individual choices, but if there was some
Guidelines.
guidelines, right, some sort of, you know, broadly agreed sense of what a hardship constitutes
Yeah.
for
There's,
somebody.
There's a
There's a whole
the
page.
application, yeah.
there's a whole page, what is a
Yeah.
hardship?
Yeah, the hardships, yeah. Yeah, that's a really good one right there. And I also go by really the legal precedents that they put under the statutes, 8, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of look for them and see it, but it's tricky.
And precedents from court decisions?
Yes, because that's incorporated under, you know, 8, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
You see them, they're listed there, and then you go look at them and, you know,
Or, you know,
that's where the de minimis came from.
Yeah.
Or when one of the things with the hardship and that it being in harmony with the surrounding properties.
Yeah.
You know, if you might not need a place to park your boat if you're nowhere near the water, but if
Right.
there's if you're on the lake and everyone has a spot for their boat, then maybe it's not as
Yeah.
extravagant for you to have a spot for your boat.
Yeah,
I got you.
okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Just
Thank you, Dick.
thoughts about it?
Anything? All right. Would you like to make your favorite motion, sir?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye. Aye.